And we, I think, are live. And welcome everybody. Happy Father's Day. Welcome to new people. We got some new people.
Yeah.
Tom is joining us for the first time today.
Hi, Tom.
And hi, Joanne from Cape Cod. And John Martucci's back. Gordon Nash is back. Rona is here. Joshua's back. Our regulars. Thank you for being here. And happy Father's Day to all of you. Happy Father's Day to my dad. Happy Father's Day to one of the founding fathers of rock and roll, Buddy Holly. So before we start, as we usually do, we want to remind you, if you haven't subscribed, please, there should be a little subscribe button there if you're on a laptop. I don't think it shows up if you're watching it on your TV, but subscribe if you haven't, and then click the little thumbs up like button. Get the contrast between my black skirt and my thumb. And that way the streaming quality is better.
Yeah.
We've already gotten so many requests. They're coming in fast and furious.
There's so many great Buddy Holly songs.
I'm playing a different guitar today because it's a Buddy Holly show.
That's got a cool retro look.
Where's my pick? I thought I was going to be ready here. So,
And I'm playing they call it a two-color Stratocaster, because he played one of the very earliest Fender guitars, Fender Stratocaster, and I made this one out of parts to look just like Buddy Holly's.
And you should have been the consultant for the Buddy Holly story, because Ricky Busey played a three-tone...
Gary Busey, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gary Busey played a three-tone Telecaster that wasn't invented yet, so... Bzz. We're purists.
But this is the right one.
So also to let you know, our tip jar information is in the description underneath this video, and you can always go to kennedysmusic.com, kennedysmusic.com for the tip info. And but to start off, we got a message in the middle of the week from Howard Modell. Hi, Howard.
Hi, Howard.
And he reminded us that today is also the first day of summer. And he asked if we could play a Buddy Holly song that deals with the first day of summer. And I racked my brain, and I couldn't think of one. And then all of a sudden,
there's one
line in this song.
Yeah.
See if you can find it.
Plus, it's a great song.
That deals with this.
Too. Also, I'm going to wear my glasses for the whole show.
Yeah, you have to do that.
It's the
Buddy
Buddy
Holly
Holly show.
All right, let's rock.
2, 3, 4. That song has such a great melody.
And that beautiful on the recording. There's the
celeste?
the celeste, and Vi Petty, Norman Petty's wife Vi, played that. And I remember when we first met. We'll tell you about our first date a little bit later. But when we first met, we went to Clovis, New Mexico, and we went to Lubbock. We also went to Clovis, New Mexico, because we wanted to see the Norman Petty studios. And we got there, it's a tiny little desert town, and we got there and it was all locked up. And we went into a convenience store and they had the local free penny saver, and I picked it up and I was looking through and I was shocked because Vi Petty's obituary, she had just died a couple weeks before we had gotten there. So that was weird.
Now, there was a group of kids, really, in Liverpool, and the leader, they were like a little gang, really, and the leader went to Quarry Bank. We would call it a high school here in the States. And so he called his band the Quarrymen. And he met up with an extremely talented neighbor from a couple of blocks away. And they started harmonizing together because they loved the Everly Brothers and they really loved Buddy Holly and the Crickets. And they were on the verge of coming up with a new band name that was a pun on the word crickets, combined with the word beat, because rock and roll was called beat music. And they went to a friend's house and they recorded for the very first time, singing together. And it never came out on a record until the anthology. And so this would be the very beginning
birth
of the Beatles.
Beatles.
And this is the song that they recorded.
Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. That'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, you give me all your loving and your dirty loving, all your hugs and kisses and your money too. Well, you know you love me, baby, and then you tell me, baby, that someday, well, I'll be blue. Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. That'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. That'll be the day when you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, when Cupid shot his dart, he shot it at your heart. So if we ever part, then I'll leave you. You sit and hold me in it, tell me boldly, baby, that someday, well, I'll be blue. Well, that'll be the day when you say goodbye. That'll be the day you make me cry. You say you're gonna leave, you know it's a lie, 'cause that'll be the day when I die. Well, that'll be the day. Ooh, ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, ooh, that'll be the day. Ooh, ooh, that'll be the day.
I remember in the 70s, in the early 70s, there was sort of no interest in the music from that era for a little period there. Disco period was going on. And Buddy Holly was not a name people would even respond to. And I give credit to Linda Ronstadt.
Yeah, she did.
bringing
she did
Buddy
that.
Holly
And the Everly Brothers,
back.
too. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Buddy Holly and the Everly Brothers. And she had a hit with That'll Be the Day.
Yeah.
And I think It Doesn't Matter Anymore or something like that. So, but she was on the cusp of the Buddy Holly revival.
We're going to do a song for our dear friend Ricky 12 String Ken. He's a DJ in Sweden, Viking Radio, which is at 101.4 in Sweden. And he told us, he listens every week, he always has a good request. And he told us that the core musicians of his show every week are the Beatles, the Byrds, Tom Petty, and the Kennedys. So,
His radio show is
it's
great.
very cool. We
Oh,
listen to
that's
it.
all the music
Yeah.
we love.
so we're gonna do this song for Ricky, aka Ken. It's a good old classic one.
2, 3, 4.
Hold me close and tell me how you feel. Tell me love is real. Words of love you whisper soft and true. Darling, I love you. Let me hear you say the words I long to hear. Darling, when you're near. Words of love you whisper soft and true. Darling, I love you.
Man, his melodies are so great.
We're gonna do this next one for a couple people asked for this, but we're gonna send this one out to Hillary, our friend Hillary. Let's see if we got any more. Oh yeah, David says he loves the guitar runs in this song. Yes, indeed.
In Words of Love?
And yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's one of the greatest guitar
we
solos
got a
ever.
request coming up for True Love Ways. We're gonna get to that a little bit later, but right now we're gonna do this one for Hillary.
This is a rocker. It's in the key of G if you're playing along. And if you're not playing, then you can just get up and dance to it. Ready? Well, the
Little things you say and do make me want to be with you. I rave on, it's a crazy feeling, and I know it's got me reeling when you say I love you. Well, rave on me. Well, the way you dance and you hold me tight, the way you kiss and you say goodnight. Rave on, it's a crazy feeling, and I know it's got me reeling when you say I love you. Well, rave on me. Well, rave on, it's a crazy feeling, and I know it's got me reeling. I'm so glad you're revealing your love for me. Well, rave on, tell me, not to be lonely. Tell me, love me only, rave on me. Woo! Well, rave on, it's a crazy feeling, and I know it's got me reeling. I'm so glad you're revealing your love for me. Well, rave on, tell me, not to be lonely. Tell me, love me only, rave on me. Well, the little things you say and do make me want to be with you. Rave on, it's a crazy feeling, and I know it's got me
fun. I love this. I love these songs so
These
much.
songs.
They're in my blood.
Yeah.
In my blood.
And there's so much to template. It was a new kind of songwriting, really, because songwriting was like the great, Cole Porter and everything. And people didn't write rock and roll songs, and that's what Buddy Holly did. And he came up with this whole, he and Chuck Berry and a few others came up with a totally new way of writing songs.
Yeah. This
Rock and
next
roll
one
songs.
is going to go out to our friend Barry and Paula, who have been with us every single week.
Such great people.
They're sweethearts and dear friends. And so I never hesitate to do a Barry and Paula request. This is kind of an eerie song. I like this one.
I know, yeah, it's modal.
Modal.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Well, alright, well, I'm being foolish. Well, alright, let the people know about the dreams and the wishes you wish in the night when the lights are low. Well, alright, we'll live and love with all our might. Well, alright, a lifetime of love will be alright. Well, alright, so I'm going steady. It's alright, let the people say that those foolish kids can't be ready for the love that comes their way. Well, alright, we will live and love with all our might. Well, alright, a lifetime of love will be alright. Live and love with all our might. Well, alright, a lifetime of love will be
Every song could have a Buddy Holly ending, and it would make it a better song.
Ba-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Any song.
Yeah.
Put that on any song. So this next song is a Chuck Berry song, and I prefer the Buddy Holly version. I've always loved this one. And Chuck Berry had such a great way of expressing, how would you even,
Social commentary
yeah,
from the point of view of a black man during segregation
in kind of in
who
code.
was carefully balancing being a rock and roll star and making these comments that were just barely disguised in
Barely
the
dis-
songs.
And quite advanced, I think.
Yeah, yeah. He was a great lyricist anyway. And in fact, I think the very first line of this song relates to today so
Yeah.
much.
I call this the Black Lives Matter song of the set. It really
Yeah.
is. It's very cool. Chuck Berry was a master, and Buddy Holly just knocked it out of the park,
Yeah.
literally in this song. Right?
Arrested on the charges of an unemployment. He was sitting in the witness stand. Judge's wife told the district attorney, better free that brown-eyed man. You want your job, you better free that brown-eyed man. Flying across the desert in a TWA, so a woman walking across the sand. She's been walking 30 miles on the route to Bombay to meet a brown-eyed handsome man. Her destination was a brown-eyed handsome man. Way back in history, 3,000 years in fact, ever since the world began, there've been a whole lot of good women doctor and a lawyer man. Mother told her, darling, go out and find yourself a brown-eyed handsome man. That's what your daddy was, a brown-eyed handsome man. Well, Venus de Milo was a beautiful lass. She had the world in the palm of her hand. She lost both her arms in a wrestling match over a brown-eyed handsome man. She fought and won herself a brown-eyed handsome man. Well, 2, 3 count, nobody on. He did a high fly into the stand. Round in the third, he was a heading for home. It was a brown-eyed handsome man that won the game. It was a brown-eyed handsome man. Yeah! Best song ever.
Yeah.
Oh, I love those real rock and roll wordy songs.
I
But every word is
I
great.
remember seeing Marshall Crenshaw do an outdoor show back in the 80s, and he opened with that song.
Wow.
He always has cool cover tunes to do.
What do we have next? Let's see.
We've got
Let's check some.
another. This is another one that the Beatles did, although they never put it on an album. But it's out there.
Pete is outdoing himself today, says one of the comments.
Oh.
Yes. Brown Eyed Handsome
I
Man
thought
by
that was
Waylon
a-
Jennings. I can see that. All right.
I'll tell you something. Those little guitar things. I played in a band with a guy named Danny Gatton, who was like the ultimate chops. They call it, fast guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
Every song he played, he would do this amazing long solos. But I was a singer in the band, and I loved to sing Buddy Holly songs. When I would do a Buddy Holly song, he would play the exact parts that Buddy Holly played because they're written into the songs. You
Yeah.
can't play the song without doing. And
That's right.
The Beatles picked up on that too. Beatles songs also have a
Oh, they did.
certain guitar thing, and so Buddy was just great all around. Singer, lyricist, composer, and guitarist too.
Let's do. Speaking of the Beatles, they did this one on a very early record. There's a recording of the Beatles doing this song with Pete Best playing drums. That's how far back it goes.
Crying,
Right?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing now?
Yeah, let's do it.
And I used to do this song. There's a couple of when Pete and I first met, I was in a band called the Delta Rays. We did a number of Buddy Holly songs. This is one of the songs we did in that band, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Crying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. I just can't seem to get you off my mind. Crying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. You're the one I love, and I think about you all the time. Crying. Do-do-do. My tears keep falling all night long, waiting. Do-do-do. It seems so useless. I know it's wrong to keep trying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. You're the one I love, and I think about you all the time. Crying, do-do-do. My tears keep falling all night long, waiting, do-do-do. It seems so useless. I know it's wrong to keep trying, waiting, hoping you'll come back. You're the one I love, and I think about you all the time. Crying, waiting, hoping.
Perfection.
put a Beatle chord there at the end.
You did.
I think maybe George sang lead on that. You know, in their early
The Buddy Holly ending.
in the early Beatles, George sang lead a lot on the rockabilly songs. He was a rockabilly singer.
I'm going to tell you something about this song. When Buddy Holly wrote this song, listen for the last verse, because the last verse is something that I think his grandma or his aunt, maybe his mother, one of the women in his family used to say it. It's just like a tossed off phrase. And he put it in a song. A warning to all y'all, watch what you say, because you might end up in a
End
song
up in a song.
without publishing credit.
I always wondered what that little thing meant, but it's cool. Ready? Give a
Hey.
a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Staying at home, waiting for you. Just don't get it, cause you say we're through. Well, I'm looking, I'm in love. I'm looking, I'm in love. Well, you're not there, baby, I don't care, cause I'm looking for someone to love. Playing the field all day long, since I found out I was wrong. Well, I'm looking for someone I'm in love. I'm looking for someone I'm in love. Well, you're not here, well, baby, I don't care, cause I'm looking for someone. Got myself thinking of you. You can't love me and another one too. Well, I'm looking for some. I'm looking. Well, you're not here, but I don't care, cause I'm looking for some. Drunk man, streetcar, foot slip, there you are. Well, I'm looking for some. I'm looking. And I'm looking for some. I'm looking. Well, you're not here, baby, I don't care, cause I'm looking for some. I'm looking for someone. I'm looking for someone to love. I'm looking for someone to love.
I had to kind of do a conglomeration of all the Pix vocal parts.
So his grandma's. My grandma never said anything like that.
Oh, my grandmother said an earful, but it was all in
your
Italian.
grandma, yeah. There's a lot your grandma said that we can't quote on the air. She was cool.
I don't know what you're all talking about, so I'm going to ignore your comments. Boy, oh boy, you're gone off topic.
Are they talking to each other now?
I think so. We are going to tell you at this moment about our tip jar, because as you know, gigs are gone. They're all gone. Gone away.
We appreciate you all being here so much, looking out. And the bleachers are totally full. I'm looking
Even the
out,
blue
it's-
seats are
yeah,
full.
Yeah, it's great having you all here.
But
It really
we so appreciate your tips when they come in. It's keeping us going. It's keeping food on the table, and it's keeping the lights on. So, there, like I said, the tip jar information is in the the description of this video. It's also at kennedysmusic.com, but you can get it right here too. Right?
We also love getting snail mail.
Love it.
We have our snail who actually delivers it to you. If you just remember P.O. Box 1298 and 10276.
That's
Those
the
are
zip
the
code.
two main things.
And while we're-
in New York.
While we're mentioning that, I'd like to read one of the letters. We get lots of letters and emails, which we love. It's our connection to y'all. We love getting the comments, but we can't always pay attention to the comments while we're playing. I read every email, and this is a nice one we got from Ilsa and Martin. They're here every week, too. They live in the Midlands in England, and they write, "We're really happy that you keep going with the Sunday concerts, and your music enriches our life no end, especially in these strange and uncertain times." And they said, "Our front row seats are ready." I love the notion that everybody here watching is in the front row.
Yeah. We're at the
Love that.
halfway point, so everybody hydrate.
Hydrate. I put lime in my water and drink it all up.
Wow.
Okay. Grace Fernari is a dear old friend of ours.
Oh, yeah.
From way back when we first put our very first record out.
From Boston.
Yep.
We knew her from Tower Records on Newbury Street.
That's right.
That was a great
She
old
was
shop.
so cool. She's still cool. And she asked for this one. Just you know why you and I will by and by know
just you and I know true love waits. Throughout the days, our true love waits will bring us joys to share with those who really care. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll cry, and we'll know why. Just you and I know true love waits. Throughout the days, our true love waits will bring us joys to share with those who really care. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll cry, and we'll know why. Just you and I know true love waits.
That's for Grace.
Yeah.
What a beautiful song.
I think it's time to rock out.
We're going to send this one to our really dear friend Wayne, who has been here every week, and he's been very generous to us. And he asked for this song. This is one this is one of my favorite Buddy Holly songs. And when I was going through the list and thinking like, oh, I wonder what songs we'll do, this is one that I really wanted to do, but we didn't get a request for it until the very last minute. Wayne sent in his request. I was so happy because I love this one.
Ready to rock?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, we're gonna rock to the rhythm and the blues tonight. Right, 'cause everything's gonna be alright all night. We're gonna rock to the rhythm of the blues. Well, I got a gal named Holly B, Holly B, from Memphis, Tennessee. Well, tonight we're gonna rock around with Holly B, Holly B. Holly B says she's gonna treat me right tonight. I'm gonna wear my
my pick. Broke my pick on that one.
That's
Yeah.
good rockabilly.
Oh yeah, I love that.
That's some
Oh,
rockabilly.
good request, Wayne. Thank you for that one.
Yeah, man. Wayne's a rock and roll guy.
All right. Is there anything else that we should? Oh, we should mention this. I forgot to mention this. So last week we had a friend of ours. I think I didn't mention this. A friend of ours asked us to play his 45th wedding anniversary via Zoom, and I didn't know how that was going to work out. But he wrote the entire set list, and he got all of his friends and family on Zoom, and they said hello, individually. And then we came on and we did our show, that we did the whole list that he gave us, but he introduced each song and told his family and friends what the song meant to him.
So we were the band for
We were the
party.
band. And it actually worked. I was sort of skeptical, but it worked.
That worked out great.
So if you want us to play your private Zoom party, you can do so. Just get a hold of us, the usual ways. You can go to our website and we will do your Zoom party.
Yeah.
Ping! Okay. We're doing whatever we can to make people happy.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
what makes people happier than a good Buddy Holly
Buddy
song?
Holly song.
It's the best.
This is a good one.
What are we doing? Oh yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Tell me how to keep your love. You know how I need your love. Tell me how to keep the love within your heart from me. Don't you know that I love you? Let me show how I'm true blue. When I know my love is true, don't keep your love from me. If you would say to me today, the time for love is now. Could I sway your love my way? Well, I say, tell me how. Tell me how to keep your love. You know how I need your love. Tell me how to keep the love within your heart from me. If you would say to me today, the time for love is now. Could I sway your love my way? Well, I say, tell me how. Tell me how to keep your love. You know how I need your love. Tell me how to keep the love within your heart from me. Tell me how to keep the love within your heart from me.
It's that ending.
That's that ending. That's a good ending.
Ah.
This next one is one of my favorites.
And that's how it's done, says Stevie. Hey Steve, how you doing? Our friend Steviola has the coolest 1950s car. I bet Steve's in his car right now with a radio on.
That's the way to listen
And this
to Buddy
is somehow
Holly.
magically coming through the radio.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I always think of Buddy Holly as coming out of the car radio.
Definitely.
Especially this song.
And a friend, actually on the Nancy Griffith page asked for this one, and guess what her first name is? Peggy.
Wow. Okay.
It's
this
not
goes
Peggy
out-
Sue, but we're gonna.
This goes
send
out
it
to
her
Peggy.
anyway.
2, 3, 4.
If you knew Peggy Sue, then you know why I feel blue about Peggy. My Peggy Sue. Oh, and I love you, gal, and I want you, Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue. Oh, how my heart yearns for you. Oh, Peggy. My Peggy Sue. Oh, and I love you, gal, and I want you, Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue, Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue, oh, Peggy. My Peggy Sue. Well, I love you, gal, and I want you, Peggy Sue. I love you, Peggy Sue, with a love so rare and true. Oh, Peggy, my Peggy Sue.
It works on every song.
You know, when Bob Dylan got the Nobel Prize for Literature and he wrote his speech, he named his biggest influences. One of them was Homer, who wrote
Oh,
the Odyssey
not
and
that Homer.
the Iliad. And he also, another one was Buddy Holly. And one of the things he mentioned about Buddy Holly was that he sang in different voices. I thought that was an interesting thing for Dylan to say,
Dylan to
because
say.
Dylan himself
Definitely does.
likes to sing in different voices too.
My old bandmate from my first band or my second band. My first band was a heavy metal band. I played bass because I played bass in high school and I just wanted to play in a band, and the only band I could find was a heavy metal band at Potsdam State University. We called ourselves Vandal, and I was a terrible bass player. And I brought my terrible bass playing to the Antics. I was the terrible bass player in the Antics. But Andy Guyette was he was the Johnny Ramone of the band. He looked like Johnny Ramone and he played like Johnny Ramone, and he asked for this song.
This is another great one. You could say that about all of them.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Maybe, baby, maybe, baby, maybe, baby, you know me. It's funny, honey, you never listen. Maybe, baby, me someday. You're the one that, you're the one that, you're the one that, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. Maybe, baby, maybe, baby, maybe, baby, you owe me. Dum 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 dum.
I like that ending there.
Every song.
Yeah.
Works on every song. Yes, SUNY Potsdam. I was there for 2 years. I didn't like it. But I met my good friend Debbie Schwartz there. She was my roommate.
Yeah.
We're still friends. Yes, Crane School of Music. That's where I was.
Yeah.
I failed percussion pedagogy for having pink hair, and that's when I left the school because I thought it was jive.
This
Yeah.
is another great one. I could say that about all of them. You know, Buddy Holly, for us, when we first met down in Austin, Texas, I was playing at the Continental Club, and we met at the gig, and we started talking about music right away, and we realized one of the very first things we learned about each other was that we both loved Buddy Holly. And I had to leave Austin. I was on tour. I went up and played with Nancy Griffith in Colorado, up in Telluride, and I called Maura from there, and we were 1,000 miles apart, and we decided that we would each drive to the equidistant point between Austin and Telluride, Colorado. It turned out to be Lubbock, Texas, the home of Buddy Holly and the final resting place of Buddy Holly. So on the telephone, we agreed that we would meet at Buddy Holly's grave, which is in the public city cemetery there.
And there were no cell phones back then, or Google Maps, or any of that stuff. So we had to use a paper map, and we had to trust that the other person would show up. And that's I remember when we got to the gravesite, we found each other at the graveyard, and then we were trying to find Buddy Holly's grave, and it was hard to find. The gravestones are flat on the thing. And over across the cemetery, we saw a big pink Cadillac with all these rockabilly people gathered around, and I thought, that's got to be it. So we went over there, and I went up to one of the guys with a big ducktail, and I said, is this Buddy Holly's grave? And he said, no, it's a funeral.
But it's a rock and roll town.
But then he
Lubbock.
pointed us to the grave.
So many great songwriters from Lubbock, and Buddy
Yeah.
is the godfather of all of them. if you go there, you can find his gravestone because it's got a picture of a Stratocaster engraved right in the etched right in the
And his
in the
name,
stone.
his name on the stone is Charles Hardin Holley, and Holley is spelled Holley, which is the actual spelling of his
original
name.
spelling.
But when the first record, Buddy Holly record, came out, they misspelled it, and that spelling stuck. Little trivia.
You know, a lot of his songs, they're pop songs, but they have Latin rhythms to it.
This is one
I
of
think
those.
because he grew up in Texas, where
Yeah.
that's a big influence. 2, 3, 4.
Heartbeat, why do you miss when my baby kisses me? Heartbeat, how does our love kiss stay in my memory? Italy Pat, I know that new love thrills me. I know that true love will be heartbeat. Why do you miss when my baby kisses me? Heartbeat, why do you skip when my baby slips me mine? Heartbeat, why do you flip and give me a skip each time? Italy Pat, and sing to me a love story, and bring to me love's glory. Heartbeat, why do you miss when my baby kisses me?
All right, we're winding down. We're going to do the next 3 songs. Boom, boom, boom. We saved the best for last. So this one we send out to Steve Kaner in Atlanta. He asked for this one.
Thank you all so much for being here. We're going to rock 3 songs.
Oh my love, oh my kissing, you don't know what you've been missing. Oh boy, and you're with me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh world will see that you were meant for me. All my life I've been awake, tonight there'll be no hesitating. Oh boy, and you're with me. Oh boy, oh boy, oh world will see that you were meant for me. Stars appear and the shadows will fall. You keep my heart calling. A little love makes everything right. I'm gonna see my baby tonight. And now, somehow, I know I will pay for the times I have made you blue. Memories of you make me sorry. I gave you reason to doubt me. And now you're gone, and I am left here all alone with no memories. I think of you. Oh yeah, do it again, me.
Did you drop your pick?
It disappeared
But
somewhere.
you could. It was like the only reason I knew you dropped your pick was I looked at your fingers. You can still. You want another one? I got another one here.
Got one?
Here, yeah, it's a thick one.
Ah.
We use different gauge of pick. I use a medium, and Pete uses a heavy. And the reason is when you're strumming, you want a little give, but when you're picking a lead, you really want to articulate it
I
nice
want
and
to dig
strong.
in. This is a good digging in.
One
song.
person wrote and said that they actually like the guitar tips, the occasional guitar tip. We don't
Oh,
really
sure.
think about providing guitar tips, but
A lot of people out there are playing along.
a
I
lot
think.
of people are playing along.
This one's key of E. It's only really got two chords, E and A.
Yeah.
And if you're not playing guitar, clap along to to the rhythm like this.
It's a clubbing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. I'm gonna give your love to me. I'm gonna love you night and day. Want my love and not fade away. Want my love and not fade away. My love's bigger than a Cadillac. Woo! I try to show, but you drive me back. It's got to be real for you to know just how I feel. Want my love and not fade away. Want my love and not fade away. Woo! I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. You're gonna give your love to me. Love will last more than one day. Want my love and not fade away. 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 Woo!
Thank you all so much. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day. Happy first day of summer. Happy Fête de Musique in France.
Yeah.
Did you know that was
Fête de
today?
Musique in France.
And
yeah.
and thank you, Buddy Holly. What a joy his music brought to us in 3 short years. That was the length of his entire career.
Unbelievable.
And we're still singing his songs. They're timeless.
We'll see you next Sunday
Please
at
stay
2
safe.
p.m. New York City time.
Yes, stay safe and take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. Happy Father's Day.